Hare Krishna. Welcome everybody to our Sunday Sriman class. Today we are going to be speaking from SB.1.7.13, chapter number 7, text number 13 and 14. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Katreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamshloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishiki. So the shloka is this. Yada Vrite Korva Chintayanam Vire Svato Vire Pratishu Ripodra Vedanta Vimarsha Bhagavad Gandhi Rashtrapatre Vardu Priyam Providisam Svapasya Krishna Chitana Swamatamte Vasamsi Upara Vipriyam Trivatasya Yogu Shitam Karma Vivarayati Yada Vidego Ramashindrayanam Vireshvato Virati Pradeshu Ripodra Vedanta Vimarsha Bhagavad Gandhi Rashtrapatre Vardu Priyam Providiti Satyam Ashyam Krishna Sundanam Sabatam Shri Ramsi Bharati Priyamena Tasya Yogu Shitam Karmurigati Yada Videko Ramashindrayanam Vireshvato Virati Pradeshu Ripodra Vedanta Vimarsha Bhagavad Gandhi Rashtrapatre Vardu Priyam Providiti Satyam Krishna Sutana Samadam Bhagavate priyame tasya Juggu Shitam Karma Vivarayate. What's for translation? Yada, when, Riddhe, in the battlefield. Kaurava, the party of Dhritarashtra. Srinjayana, of the party of the Pandavas. Vireshu, of the warriors. Atho, thus, Viragati, the destination deserved by the warriors. Gadeshu, being obtained. Rikodhan, Bhima, the second Pandava. Mavita, beaten. Tata, by the club. Abhimansha, lamenting. Bhavna, broken. Guru Dande, spinal cord. Dhritarashtra Putre, the son of King Dhritarashtra. Vartu of the master. Priyam, pleasing. Droni, the son of Dronacharya. Vidhi, thus. Sma, shall be. Pasha, thing. Krishna, Draupadi. Sudana, of the sons. Sopata, wives eating. Shiramsi, heads. Upahara, delivered as a prize. Vipriya, unpleasing. Eva, like. Tasya, is. Jugupsita, most heinous. Karma, act. Bigger than reality, disapproving. Purpose and translation that is divided in facing of the Passion Prabhupada purpose. Translation. When the respective warriors of both camps, namely the Kauravas and the Pandavas, were killed on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and the dead warriors obtained their deserved destinations, and when the son of Dhritarashtra fell down, lamenting, his spine broken, being beaten by the club of Bhimasen, son of Dronacharya Ashwatthama, beheaded the 5 sleeping sons of Draupadi, and delivered the heads as a prize to his master. Foolishly thinking that he would be pleased, Duryodhana, however, disapproved of the heinous acts, and he was not pleased in the least. Perfect. Transcendental topics of the activities of Lord Shri Krishna and Srimad Bhagavatam begin from the end of the Battle of Kurukshetra, where the Lord himself spoke about himself in the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, both the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam are transcendental topics of Lord Krishna. The Gita is Krishna Katha, on topics of Krishna, because it is spoken by the Lord, and the Bhagavatam is also Krishna Katha, because it is spoken about the Lord. Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted everyone to be informed of both Krishna Kathas by his order. Lord Krishna Chaitanya is Krishna himself in the garb of a devotee of Krishna, and therefore the versions of both Lord Krishna and Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are identical. Lord Chaitanya desired that all who are born in India seriously understand such Krishna Kathas, and then after full realization, preach the transcendental message to everyone in all parts of the world. That will bring about the desired peace and prosperity of the spiritual world. Again, in this verse, there are a few very important points that are going to be highlighted here. So the first one is that there is no difference at all between Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Because what is Srimad Bhagavatam? Srimad Bhagavatam is all about the activities of Lord Krishna, and it is spoken about the Lord. While the Gita are the words of Lord Krishna, and it is speaking and is spoken by the Lord. One is spoken about the Lord, and another is spoken by the Lord. Okay? So, in content, there is no difference because Krishna is absolute. There is no difference between his name, his roop, his Vani, his Leela, his Guna. There is no difference between Krishna's words and Krishna himself. So there is no difference between the words he spoke in the Gita and the words that are describing him in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So they are identical. So what does the Gita say? The Gita's last message is what? Surrender to him. Yes? In 1866. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, what is Srimad Bhagavatam all about? It's all about how devotees are surrendered to him. So is there any difference? There is no difference. One says you surrender to me, and the other shows you how to surrender to him. So there is a difference. Now, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there are so many different accounts that are given of different devotees who have surrendered to the Lord. Right? And there are so many different accounts of the devotees. So you'll be thinking, so okay, we understand that there is no difference between Krishna and Krishna's name, form, leelas and everything. But is there a difference between Krishna and his devotees? No, there is also no difference between Krishna and his devotees. Because the devotees are as good as Krishna himself. Right? So, just as the king travels with his entire entourage, the glories of the Lord are incomplete without the glories of the devotees of the Lord. And therefore, the first 9 cantos of the Srimad Bhagavatam describe so many different aspects regarding so many different devotees of the Lord and how they surrender, just to show us that how we can also surrender to the Lord. And so they are as good as Krishna Katha. Katha about Krishna's devotees is as good as Krishna Katha. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction that all those who are born within India should seriously understand Krishna Katha and after full realization, preach the transcendental message to all parts of the world. So what is Prabhupada is really focused here, that after full realization, not just understanding Krishna Katha, we understand Krishna Katha, oh, he was born of Vasudeva, he was born of Devaki, and he was just born somewhere, like he's an historical figure. No, not like that. You must understand Krishna through his tattva, Krishna tattva. So, Krishna Katha, it aims to make us all grow closer to him, to become his devotee. That is the meaning of full realization. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 4.9, Janma Karma Chavedyam. It is not that we can just understand Krishna casually. No. We must understand it by tattva. So Prabhupada has written in a lecture, said in lecture, said, don't make it ordinarily. Oh, Krishna is born of a father Vasudeva and of a mother Devaki. That's all. We know he was born. No, one has to learn who is his father, who is his mother, and how he accepts his devotee as his father. That is called Yo Janati Tattva. This is Tattva. Now Vasudeva actually means a perfect Vaishnava. So do you think Krishna would just accept any person as his father? As an ordinary man as his father? No. The person who is his father, Vasudeva, he is a perfect Vaishnava. He is not a noble person. He is a great devotee of the Lord. Now to understand Krishna Katha in truth, that is not very easy. Because Prabhupada says, and Krishna says in the Gita, in 7.3, Manushanam Sahashveshu Kaschit Yataki. That out of many millions of men, one may know me in truth. So the purpose of Krishna Katha is to know Krishna in truth. And as Krishna says, it's very rare for such a person to understand Krishna Katha in truth, to understand it in tattva. So that tattva one can understand simply by pure devotional service. It's very difficult, and the only way to understand it is through pure devotional service. If you become a pure devotee without any contemplation, that is, to become an unalloyed devotee, then Krishna will reveal himself to you. He will say that, okay, this is who I am, this is how I am. He will reveal it to you once you become a devotee. You cannot speculate about Krishna. That is not possible. Right? There is a verse that comes in the Katha Upanishad. Nayam Atma Pravachanena Dhamyona Bhavuna Sutena Na Vedaya. So in this, Krishna says that one who has no spiritual strength, he cannot understand it. One who does have a fertile brain, which is good for speculating theories, for speculating upon the absolute, even that person will not be able to reach me. And the person who is a scholar in the Sanskrit language, even he will not be able to understand me. So Krishna is saying that none of these factors matter. What matters is pure devotional service. So if Krishna reveals himself to you, then you will be able to see him. That revelation is possible only when you are a devotee. Otherwise, it is not possible. So we have to wait for that opportunity when Krishna reveals himself. The question is, how is that revelation possible? So in the Charitamrita, it is said, Anta Shri Krishna Namani Na Bhavet Trayam Indriyani. So it says you cannot understand with his blood senses. We cannot understand Krishna through our material senses. Then how can we understand Krishna? That means we have to convert our material senses into spiritual senses. How do we do that? It says, Sevan Mukhi Jivado Swayam Eva Suhadiyata. When you engage your senses, it will purify your senses. Sevan Mukhi. Purified senses means when the senses are engaged in the service of the Lord. That means everything, all your senses are engaged in the Lord, then only will you be able to attract Krishna. And when Krishna is attracted and he sees that, oh, here is a real devotee of mine, now let me reveal myself to him. Then only will you be able to understand Krishna. Okay? And this is a sort of people that the Pandavas were. The Pandavas were pure devotees. Therefore, Krishna had taken their side and they became victorious in the fight. And Krishna is always ready to give his protection to his devotees. As Krishna told Arjuna to declare, Kvante Pratijani Na Me Bhaktya Pranashati. That Krishna is saying that I am always there to protect my devotee. You make the statements. Yeah? His Sudarshan Chakra is always there to protect his devotees. So we understand that a devotee is another word for devotee is Vaishnava. And to rise to this platform of Vaishnava, you need to raise at least yourself to the level of being a Brahmana. So this is a difference. There is a Varnashram system. The Varnashram system is created by Krishna. As it says in Gita 4:13, Chantur Varnyam Maya Krishna Gurnam Dharma Vibhagasham. In the purpose, Srila Prabhupada writes that human society is similar to any other animal society. But to elevate man from the animal status, the above mentioned divisions are created by the Lord for the systematic development of Krishna consciousness. A person in Krishna consciousness, however, is above even the Brahmanas. Although Brahmanas by quality are supposed to know about Brahman, the supreme absolute truth, most of them approach only the impersonal Brahman manifestation of Lord Krishna. But the man who transcends the limited knowledge of a Brahmana and reaches the knowledge of the Supreme Personality Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, becomes a person in Krishna consciousness, or in other words, a Vaishnava. So from here we can understand that a Vaishnava is greater than any person who is engaged in the Varnashram system. The entire Varnashram system is so designed that by gradual development of going through the system, one should become a pure Vaishnava. Then only will that person able to come face to face with Krishna. Otherwise it's not possible to do your duties perfectly in the Varnashram system. But if that doesn't lead to Krishna Prema, to understand, to becoming his devotee, then that is useless. Okay? That's why Vaishnavas are considered the topmost. Yes? And so if somebody is considered to be a Vaishnava, it automatically means that that person has all the Brahminical qualities. Okay? Now we come to this verse. Who is not an ideal person of the Varnashram system? In this case it is Ashwatthama. Now Ashwatthama, although he was born in a Brahmana family, he was given the opportunity to become a Brahmana because he is given that sort of advantage at birth that you could become, if you are born in a Brahmana family, there is a higher chance that you will be able to develop Brahminical qualities. But then what did Ashwatthama choose to do as a profession? He chose to become a Kshatriya. He became a warrior. So that is already a degradation. In one sense, that is a degradation. Now, what is even more of a degradation is that he became a servant of Duryodhana. It says in this verse, the word is what? The word is Bhartu, of the master. So he took Duryodhana to be his master. Now, a Kshatriya is not even meant to serve anybody. The only class that is meant to be a servant class is Shudra class. You can imagine the level of degradation that happened to Ashwatthama. Right? He was born in a Brahman family. He chose to become a Kshatriya, but his actions were that of a Shudra. Right? So we see this degradation. And why was this degradation coming from? His degradation happened because of his association. When the Kauravas and the Pandavas were under the care of Dronacharya, Ashwatthama took the friendship of whom? He took the friendship of Duryodhana. So that is why he kept sliding in his character, in his nature. Yeah, if he became the friend of the Pandavas, he would have risen. But the association plays a very big part in determining what your nature will be like. And because Ashwatthama was taking the side of Duryodhana, naturally, because of association and close contact, he developed all the qualities of Duryodhana and company. And so he became more and more demonic in nature. And he became so demonic that he degraded himself to commit a very heinous crime. And what was the heinous crime? That he cut off the heads of the 5 sons of Draupadi while they were sleeping. Now a Kshatriya never slays anybody in the sleep. The Kshatriya's business is to challenge. And if the other party has no weapon, then he supplies the weapon. Then there is a fight and it is decided that one must die. That decision is there. So when there is a fight between the two Kshatriyas, the decision is that one must die. And unless one dies, the fighting will never stop. That is called Gati. That is what true fighting means. True fighting for the Kshatriyas is that when you are challenged in battle, you either come out victorious or you give up your life. And when you give up your life in that circumstance while fighting, then according to the Kshatriya laws and the law of conduct, you get promoted to the heavenly planets. And this is what Krishna was telling Arjuna in the Gita, that you fight regardless. If you fight, then if you are victorious, you enjoy sovereign reign over the earth. And if you die, you get promotion to the heavenly kingdoms. And most of the people who died on the battlefield, they all got promoted to the heavenly kingdom because they got visa, nothing. Yeah? So, and this is the unfortunate situation of Ashwatthama, that even though he degraded himself by killing the sons of Draupadi in his sleep, that was not enough for him. he was fought by Arjuna and then he was released. And even after releasing, he had the audacity to create another Brahmastra to kill Maharaj Parikshit in the womb. Now imagine how much degraded of a person you have to be able to fall this low. Yeah? So, during the end of the Mahabharata war, in the Kaurava camp, there were only a few soldiers remaining. One was Ashwatthama, and then one was Kripacharya. And when Duryodhana fell, he was not yet dead. He was just lying down on the floor, writhing in pain after Bhima struck him on the thigh. And at that time at night, Ashwatthama was so much lamenting that, oh, my friend has fallen. I need to be able to save my friend. How can I save him? How can I please my friend? And at that time, at night, where he was sitting under a tree, and Kripacharya was also there with him, he saw that there was a nest on the top of a tree. And in the nest, there were many eggs, small eggs. And then there was another rival bird that came into the nest and basically picked or hooked the eggs with his beak and was eating the baby birds inside the eggs. And this hit an idea in Ashwatthama's head. Okay, the only way to kill the Pandavas is to kill them in the sleep, just like how this bird has killed the small baby birds in the eggs. That is the only way we will be able to gain victory. And so Ashwatthama explained this plan of his to Kripacharya. And Kripacharya was shocked. He was like, how can you be able to fall to such a low level of morals that you are willing to do this? So Kripacharya left. He said, no, I cannot participate in this plan of yours. And Ashwatthama went ahead with his plan. And it just so happened that he entered the wrong tent. He entered the tent of the Draupadi's 5 sons. And he killed them in cold blood. He took all their heads and basically presented them to Duryodhana. And Duryodhana, when he felt the heads, he felt that these are children's heads. These are not the heads of the Pandavas. They were very soft. And so when Duryodhana understood that what Ashwatthama has done, he was very angry. And in that anger, he left his body. He left his body being very displeased with Ashwatthama. And so Ashwatthama felt really bad. Like, I was trying to do something for my friend. And now he has left his body being upset at me. And so this fueled his anger even more. And so when Arjuna basically the next day, when Draupadi saw that her 5 sons have been slain by Ashwatthama, then Arjuna gave a promise to Draupadi that I will bring the head of Ashwatthama to your feet, and then you'll be able to reduce your grief. And so when Arjuna went on his chariot with Krishna and chased Ashwatthama, and Ashwatthama saw that now there is no hope for me. At that time, it comes ahead in when we read ahead, we will see that Ashwatthama, to save his life, he released the Brahmastra. And he did not have the knowledge of how to retract the Brahmastra. But then Krishna told Arjuna that you have to counteract the Brahmastra with your own Brahmastra and bring it back. And so when Arjuna released his Brahmastra, the entire universe was scorched. And it felt as if that the fire of destruction was blazing around the universe. And Arjuna basically nullified Ashwatthama's Brahmastra with his own Brahmastra, and he retracted it. And then he bound forgave Ashwatthama. And on one side, Krishna told Arjuna that you have to kill him. And Yudhishthir and Draupadi and all the Pandavas, except for Bhima, were saying that we should forgive him. And Krishna and Bhima on the other side were saying no, we need to kill him. And so Arjuna was in a dilemma, who to please. Do I forgive him or do I let him go free? And so he decided to basically cut off Ashwatthama's hair and to remove the jewel that Ashwatthama was born with. And basically rid him of all his wealth and drive him away from the forest. This is as good as killing a Kshatriya. This is as good as killing a Kshatriya. So you have killed him and you have not killed him. So he satisfied both Bhima and Krishna and also Draupadi and Yudhishthira. Okay? And this insult was burning more and more in Ashwatthama, up to the point that he decided to release another Brahmastra to kill off Parikshit Maharaj in the womb of Uttara. So imagine, this is how much that association has affected Ashwatthama, that he degraded himself even though he was given a chance to progress from his original situation as being a son of a Brahmana. Yeah. So this legitimate association is very, very important. It's a point that is kept on being repeated and emphasized in ISKCON and in spiritual culture. Association is really, really important. Now, we see that Ashwatthama is a bad example. But who is a good example? That is Bhima and Duryodhana. The fight between the two was of equal warriors. Yeah? So both of them, Duryodhana and Bhima, they were very experts in fighting with the Gada. And so what happened is, before the last battle between Bhima and Duryodhana, Gandhi had basically told Duryodhana, please come to see me the next day naked. It was, I'm going to offer the fruits of my penance to you. Because Gandhari had taken a vow of becoming voluntarily blind by putting a strip of cloth over her eyes. Because when she found out that her husband is blind, she said that I should not even have the pleasure and enjoyment of seeing anything in this world. If my husband cannot enjoy, I cannot enjoy. So this was a very chaste woman, and she did tapasya, voluntary tapasya for so many years. And when you do tapasya for so many years, you get power. You get power, material power, and you can get spiritual power. So Gandhari had told Duryodhana, please come in front of me completely naked when you give your obeisances to me. Because with the power that I have accumulated through so many years of tapasya, I will make your body as strong as a thunderbolt, as strong as iron. And so when Duryodhana was going to see his mother naked, who appeared in front of him? Krishna appeared in front of him. What is Krishna telling? How can you go and see your mother like this? At least have some decency. Wear some lakota. Yeah, you're a grown man. How can you go and see your mother in this condition? And so Duryodhana felt, yes, it's true, I need to at least wear a lakota. Because he knew that Bhima will not strike me below the belt. At least if all the rest of my body, everything else becomes strong like iron, strong like a thunderbolt, he will not be able to defeat me. Yeah? So Duryodhana put like a banana leaf or a lakota around his private parts. And when Gandhari took off her blindfold and looked at Duryodhana from head to toe, she was filled with grief. I told you to come naked. why did you come with your private parts being covered? And so Duryodhana said, oh, because Krishna, he talked some sense into me, that's why. And then Gandhi started lamenting, oh, my attempt is become futile because Krishna knows the secrets. And so when the final fight is happening between Bhima and Duryodhana, it was like a deadlock. There was an impasse. And at that time, Lord Balram had come at Kurukshetra. Because when the Mahabharata war was going on, he decided to make neutral. He did not want to take part. Because on one side, it was the Pandavas and the other side was Duryodhana, who was his disciple. So he had a natural affection towards Duryodhana because he was his disciple. So Lord Balram went around India to all the different pilgrims. And on the last day he came to the battlefield. And at that time he saw both of them fighting. And as soon as Balram appeared, both of them stopped fighting and both of them offered their obeisances to Lord Balram. And then Balram said that, look, Duryodhana, you are more expert in skill in fighting with Gada. But Bhima is more superiorly stronger with physical strength. So it looks like there is going to be no end to this fighting. So please stop fighting. But both Duryodhana and Bhima, they had so much hatred towards each other that they were not willing to let this opportunity slip up. Throughout their lifetimes, throughout Duryodhana and Bhima's lifetimes, there's so much fury, of so much anger, that now there was an opportunity to put everything to bed. Like Bhima was so much filled with anger towards Duryodhana because Duryodhana, he poisoned me when he was a young boy. He poisoned me. Then he tried to burn them in the Lakshagriha. Then he stole the entire kingdom from them. He banished them. He exiled them. So he had the audacity to disrobe Draupadi. Imagine there are 6 kinds of aggressions that a person can do, and Duryodhana did all 6 of them against the Pandavas. So Bhima was boiling in anger, and on top of that, Bhima had his vow that I am going to kill all 100 Kauravas. So that was, he also wanted to fulfill his vow. And Duryodhana just hated Bhima. So much angry in his heart. And so, because they did not want to upset Balram, they just remained silent. And Balram understood that no matter what I say, they are not going to give up their fighting. So he left Kurukshetra and went back to Dwarka. Krishna stayed because Krishna knew I have to give Bhima the trick. What is the trick to kill Duryodhana? And so when Krishna said appointed to break his thigh, then Bhima did this unreservedly because he knew that if Krishna is telling me to do something, that must be right. So he just did it. And so this is how Bhima became victorious. Okay? So this is what the verse today is all about. The main point that I will bring up is that Krishna Katha is very important, and the aim of Krishna Katha is to become a devotee of Krishna. And that can only be possible when you become a full Vaishnava, an unalloyed devotee. Only that is what will enable you to understand the grasp or the crux of the Krishna Katha, to know Krishna in truth. And that is only known by the devotees. And the devotees are exemplified in the Mahabharata by many devotees, but the prime are the Pandavas. So whatever Krishna says, we will follow without any reservation. And that is why even if we come into not next chapter, but the one after, in chapter 9, Vishnu Pitama, on the bed of arrows, he's telling the Pandavas that I don't know how it is that you find had to suffer so much in life. This can only be part of the master plan of Krishna. And so Krishna Katha means that you understand all the intricacies. You understand that everything that has happened is all Krishna's plan. And when you understand the plan of Krishna, when you understand the master plan of Krishna, meaning you understand the tattva of Krishna, you will be able to understand Krishna Katha vanishes. That is why it says in chapter 10 of the Gita that devotees find enlightenment when they are keeping on discussing Krishna Katha. And this enlightenment of enlightening one another of Krishna Katha, it derives them with so much bliss. They get so much peace and satisfaction in discussing Krishna Katha. And so this is what we try to do every single day. Every single evening we have Gita classes. And Sundays we have Bhagavatam classes. What are we doing? We are doing Krishna Katha so that we get more and more attraction for Krishna. And in this day and age, there is no difference between Krishna's name, Krishna's forms, Krishna's leelas, Krishna's gunas. And the most accessible form of Krishna in this day and age is through his names. And what is the name that has been authorized to this age? Hare Krishna Mahavajra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavatam ki hai, Srila Prabhupada ki